We have a little over 1,500 branches and a little over 2,000 ATMs in our footprint. And as I indicated, I'm in Birmingham, and Regions is actually based in Birmingham. With that being said, I'm Regions Disability Service and Outreach Manager. And my role was created in 2011, but I've actually been involved with ADA activities since the act was passed in 1990. And basically my role is to ensure from the user side, our products and services are accessible, allowing our banking customers to be able to bank independently on their own terms in the manner in which they choose to bank. So in talking about accessible spectrum and all, there's three different buckets that I kind of look at when you're talking about accessibility and regulatory compliance. One is the bucket of, okay, I'm going to do everything in-house. This is something that our technology department can support. The second bucket would be a partial, I can do some things in-house, but others I'm going to look for outside sourcing. And then the other bucket, the third bucket, would be involving outside outsourcing as much as possible. So trying to figure out where your institution, where your business, your company would fit into addressing the regulatory compliance and how you're going to address and take care of the regulatory requirements. I think the challenge, you can't just go into a company, a business, and say, okay, we're going to make everything accessible. Well, there's got to be part of your organization, the culture is part of the DNA, and there's so many different components that accessibility touches. And so I would like to briefly go through each one of these components. One being top of house policies and procedures, incorporating accessibility, the importance of accessibility into all of your policies and procedures across your organization. Website, as just mentioned in my in the previous segment, web accessibility is so important, especially so crucial during the COVID environment that we're currently experiencing. And Regions is very fortunate in having a group of associates within our digital space that are totally committed to web accessibility in the user experience, and we are very committed in this space. Vendors, when you're working with outside vendors, making sure that they have accessibility as a key component of a service that they can provide. I still run into vendors currently where accessibility may not be top of mind, but putting that in your master contract and realizing that it is of importance when you're bringing a new vendor on or maintaining an existing vendor relationship. Complaints I view as an opportunity for looking to see if there's a trend with a complaint, then that tells me that potentially we have an area that we need to address. Or complaints can also be an opportunity to listen to the customer's needs and concerns and then incorporate or put a new process or program in place. Etiquette, so important with the part of the DNA, part of the organization. You want your customers to feel comfortable in interacting with your associates, and you want your associates to feel important and feel comfortable interacting with your customers with disabilities. And then facilities. We have approximately, as I mentioned, 1,500 facilities across our footprint. And so making sure that they are accessible. We have put together a review that we did several years ago to take a look at all our facilities and make sure that the ramps, the curb cuts, the door tension, all are appropriate for our customers with disabilities. So having all these components in place are extremely important to facilitate and maintain your DNA accessibility for your organization. Also, additional components involves outreach, your marketing, your outreach, getting out into the community, listening to your consumers, listening to their needs and concerns. And then once you have those tools from your outreach visits, then incorporate those into your products and services. And I love this quote: no amount of smiling at a flight of stairs has ever made it into a ramp. There takes planning, there takes involvement, and there takes listening to determine what that next step is in developing accessibility. So communicating with your customers, extremely important. It's essential as part of your doing business. But you've got to be flexible, you've got to listen, and by doing this, by being flexible, then you can define your customers' needs. So understanding the why, there's various pieces of the puzzle as far as understanding the why. You may have lifetime clients that have really never expressed a concern or interest. It would be a nice to have, but they have not they have not expressed their desire for a document to be accessible. But then when it is, it's like, oh, well, thank you very much, we do appreciate that. So understanding your lifetime clients. Legal is obviously an important factor in regulatory compliance. We all want to check the box as being compliant, but then there's also another component of doing what we're doing for the right reason. Right reason being inviting a welcoming or friendly environment for your consumers to participate in. So what I like to call it is an ADA friendly environment versus compliant. Yes, we want to be compliant, but then we also want to be ADA friendly, and there's a big difference. Part of the corporate responsibility of doing what is right, that is the right thing to do, and being a good corporate citizen, not only for our consumers, our customers, but for our stakeholders and shareholders as well. And then business opportunities. Business opportunities are out there, and they do grow if you're doing the right thing. And last but not least, doing the right thing, making life better, and giving everyone equal access is extremely important. So let's moving forward with our approach to providing online banking PDF statements. There were several options that we took a look at. Performing a manual tagging process, having a separate button or key that an individual, if they were using JAWS software, that they could click, and then it would convert the PDF statements. We could also use a tagging using a composition engine or a post-composition solution. But what we were running into, that there were millions and millions of transactions and documents that we needed to get control and have a scalable workflow. Our first approach using a composition engine was a year-long project with a particular vendor. And what we found is that our files continued to grow. And storage issues were an issue, archiving documents, how far back do you go to archive documents? And so we investigated in determining the cost for the additional storage that we found that we were going to need. And it was just astronomical. It was something that it was just like we couldn't get our hands around it and our arms around it. And it was just really unattainable for an online presentation. And the vendor made suggestions, we made suggestions, and we just simply ran out of options. And so we thought, okay, well, our next avenue, we're not going to give up. Our next approach, we're going to provide this solution in-house. And we realized that we didn't have all the resources that we needed in order to accomplish this. And so a year later, we partnered with Crawford Technologies PDF UA solution. We were allowed to convert on the fly, which I was super excited about, real time, and with a high volume of templates. We were able to have a small footprint for files, so storage was not an issue, and lag time was not an issue. And we really spent a lot of time on lag time because we wanted it to be a positive experience for all of our customers, not only our customers that were using JAW software or some other type of software, but we also wanted the experience for our users not using this software, that they wouldn't notice any change in any sort of lag time. So I will say that there was a lot of testing involved to ensure that we did not have lag time, and we were successful in accomplishing that. So once the testing was completed, then we figured, okay, what are our next steps? We've got to get the word out. We need to communicate to our customers that we have this this type of accessibility for our online banking documents. And so we used various communication channels within regions and externally as well, to Facebook, Twitter, and then we also used internal ADA web pages. That's our resource for our Regions Associate to go to for determining different resources that they need to use to provide accessibility. We used various internet and intranet stories talking about how we work together as a team within regions, because it wasn't just one or two individuals. It was a slew or a host of individuals across our footprint that were able to make this happen. And then business group training, such as our contact center, making sure that they were able to assist customers when they received a phone call. It was imperative that our branch associates understand the process, and being able to share that when an individual comes in to open up an account, or maybe when there was an issue with their online statement, that they were able to provide assistance and let them know about the new accessible document. And then we maintain on our online banking website, regions.com, a /accessibility webpage that talks about our commitment towards ADA in general, but then it also drills down into the accessibility piece. And then leadership and memos and internal communication. We felt like communication, there was not too many different ways that we could communicate. We wanted to get the word out. And then for our Braille customers, we provided a Braille letter letting them know of this service, and also a statement stuffer in Braille to just remind them of this service that they could use with their online banking platform. And then creative materials that I use when I participate in trade shows, letting individuals know that that visit our booth or at trade shows that we have this this opportunity that they can use to make their online banking experience easier to navigate and look at their statements. So we rolled this program out, this accessibility piece, May 2018, and because we were so well prepared and we had done so much testing to make sure we had tested all different types of scenarios, we really had no issues in rolling this out, and it was a very successful process. I think in order to have a successful project such as what I have just described is that we needed to do three things: listen well to our customers, listen well to our vendor, listen well to our associates as we're implementing this. We needed to think, how would this affect our user experience for our consumers? We wanted to make sure that the statement that an individual using JAWS or a different type of software, they were having the same experience as an individual who was not. And then we responded, and I think we responded in a wonderful way. So we were able to check all these three boxes. But the most critical thing, details matter. Understanding what the customer wants is fundamental to success. And I think we were able to do that by, first of all, listening to the customer needs and concerns, and then implementing a solution in order to address their concerns. And I always like to end my presentations with a quote from Helen Keller, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. And I think it really states how we all work together to accomplish this solution for accessible online banking PDF statements. And we have received a lot of positive feedback from our customers, and they're very pleased with the program that we actually put in place back in 2018. Thank you. I'll pause for any questions that anyone might have regarding our journey that we took to provide accessible online banking statements.
Thanks so much, Kathy. And yes, we do have a couple of questions, and if anybody else has additional questions, please feel free to raise your hand or send them to me directly via chat. The first question we've received: what response has Region received from your customers regarding the accessible PDF online bank statement format?
We have received quite a few positive comments, and one thing about it is that I haven't received any complaints, so that's a good thing. But we have received complaints when I go to the, as I mentioned, I participate in trade shows, and hopefully with COVID, maybe on with the future opportunities, we'll go back to trade shows or some sort of type of trade shows. But I have received positive feedback from our consumers that they appreciate the flexibility and the ability to do their online banking, not only being able to transfer and pay bills, but also view their online banking statements.
Sorry, I was on mute. Okay. Second question, based on the lessons learned, was the time and effort worth the results?
Absolutely. You know, there wasn't a mandate that said that we needed to take this course of action, but it's all about the user experience and the option of having additional accessibility type of experiences. And I think it just goes back to being ADA friendly and more welcoming and giving customers with disabilities different options that they choose to do their banking. So most definitely the effort was well received, and if we had to do it over again, we would do the same thing. We would implement this accessibility piece.
Okay, and those are the only questions I have so far. I'll give it a couple more seconds. Oh, I think something comes in. Hold on.
Okay.
Is the solution deployed supporting multiple languages or English exclusively? Why was UA selected over WCAG?
Now, I'm not really sure I totally understand the question, because what I have been talking about are our online banking statements, and not, I mean, we adhere to the WCAG 2.0.1 philosophy, and that is what you know, our digital department is actually, that is their, you know, their framework as far as accessibility across our web page.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine it would mainly be WCAG, as
Yes.
UA is not as common.
Right. No, WCAG is what we are using, is the 2.0.
Okay.
.1.
Great.
Because it's more of the universal web accessibility guidance.
Okay. And I think that is it. Yep. No more questions. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for your time. That was a wonderful presentation. Great information. I'm sure that everybody enjoyed it as I did. So thank you again, and hopefully we will do this again.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so in a few minutes we will have Karen McCall. So if you can wait for about 10 or 14 minutes, that will be the next presentation.